Hello and welcome to the podcast. We will delve into the captivating world of legendary beings that have sparked wonder and fear throughout history. Today, we shine a spotlight on one of the lesser-known yet intriguing creatures, the Ratmen. Join us as we navigate the shadows of folklore and fantasy to uncover the secrets of these cunning and elusive beings. Ratmen, also known as Ratkin or Skaven, have roots in various mythologies and fantasy realms. In folklore, they are often portrayed as vermin-like creatures lurking in the shadows, preying on the unsuspecting. Their origins can be traced back to ancient tales of underground dwellers and sinister forces that haunt dark places. With their sharp claws, keen senses, and remarkable agility, Ratmen are formidable adversaries in the realm of mythical creatures. These cunning beings often employ swarm tactics, overwhelming their foes with sheer numbers and devious strategies. Players in fantasy games often find themselves challenged by the relentless horde of Ratmen as they navigate treacherous dungeons and ominous landscapes. Despite their dark and foreboding nature, Ratmen offer a fascinating glimpse into the realm of mythical creatures and the human imagination. Their legacy endures through the centuries, captivating audiences with tales of cunning, treachery, and resilience. Ratmen are a rare case in the bestiary, creatures who feel equally good in fantasy and science fiction, among swords and wizards, or among atomic charges and starships. Ratmen have made their mark in the realm of popular culture. The Ratman looks like a cross between a human and a rat, bipedal, upright, with well-developed fingers. However, with a rat face, and, as a rule, a bare tail. Ratmen should not be confused with werewolf rats, creatures that can become a rat, a human, or something in between, and spread a lycanthropic infection with their bite. Ratmen have only one form, cannot make people like themselves, do not depend on the phases of the moon, and are not protected from iron. Most often, Ratmen reach the height of a dwarf, although some large varieties turn out to be the size of a human. Ratmen usually do not walk on the entire foot, but only on the front part of it, so that their legs are constantly bent when walking. Their bones are quite thin and light, and their build, even in the largest, is delicate. In addition, they are very flexible and can easily squeeze into an opening that at first glance is too narrow for such a large creature. For example, into a sewer pipe. Their lightweight and tenacious paws allow them to climb walls, rocks, and trees perfectly. But they are mediocre runners. On flat terrain, a person is likely to catch up with them without much difficulty. The skin of these creatures is covered with short hair, no longer than that of ordinary rats. Sometimes they grow something like a mane, thick fur on their shoulders, or thick tufts of wool on their chin. But otherwise, the coat is so short that it can sometimes be mistaken for bare skin. Sometimes it partially peels off. It turns out to be extremely unsympathetic. Beady eyes without whites can see perfectly in the dark. Hearing and smell are also excellent. Their language is well developed and capable of complex articulate speech. However, their voice is very squeaky. Ratmen's own language is usually full of hisses. Ratmen prefer to wear clothes, although by nature they do not suffer much from the cold. A fast metabolism helps them keep warm. They often dress only below the waist, but sometimes, on the contrary, they wrap themselves in coats. Some authors believe that in this way they are trying to pass for humans. The diet of Ratmen is very wide. Insects, carrion, and bones all can be food for them to eat. They are typically portrayed as sneaky, cunning scavengers. They are known for their swarming tactics, trickery, and the ability to thrive in urban environments or dark places. Ratmen are often associated with filth, disease, and the underground world. In folklore, they are sometimes considered symbols of dishonor, treachery, or as agents of chaos. These creatures are commonly used to enhance the sense of danger and mystery in fantasy settings. Their typical life expectancy is 15-25 years. The 40-year-old is considered an ancient elder, and only magic can extend their years to human ones. The rat woman gives birth to 4 to 8 children at a time, and pregnancy lasts only 2 months, and sometimes in a year she manages to give birth 4 times. The babies become almost independent literally in a month. In a year and a half, a rat man is already fully grown, so it should not be surprising that a group of 12 individuals would procreate a whole horde in 5 years, if there was enough food. In terms of intelligence, they are probably not inferior to humans, and sometimes even surpass them, at least in terms of all kinds of engineering. However, if they can read and write, they don't like it too much. Apparently, they are gifted by nature in mechanics. Anyway, in most worlds, the Ratmen have mastered quite complex techniques and sometimes magic. They are sometimes aggressive if they have to be under a strong leader. They are very reverent about their own lives, but have no value for someone else's, even the life of a relative. The Rat King can sacrifice thousands of subjects without blinking an eye. The power of the rat leader is extremely great. He has the right to do literally anything, and his orders are unquestioningly obeyed. However, this position is dangerous. A rat king is often backstabbed by a murderous competitor. Contrary to popular belief, ratmen are not naturally evil. Yes, they constantly turn out to be aggressors in the war, the culprits behind the disappearance of humans and whole trade caravans. But this is a consequence of their place in the society, not an inborn quality. Small groups of ratmen in human cities often cause disgust or pity, but there comes no real harm from them. Ratmen are not bloodthirsty, they do not like to fight, and even do not pursue much personal gain and power. However, ratmen are fast breeders, as we have said, and it is impossible to feed a huge horde of rat people without aggression. The most popular and vibrant example of aggressive ratmen are the Skaven from Warhammer Fantasy. The word Skaven means a scavenger. As befits rats, Skaven armies are usually quite numerous, but not too brave. This disadvantage is balanced by their special ability. The larger is the army, the higher is the morale of the rats. Ratmen love to travel, and they can often be found on the road in merchant caravans. They are good with crafts and have a good eye for detecting anything unusual, from threats to treasures. Their inventory and dwelling are overflowing with unusual things collected on their journeys and stashed away just in case. Ratmen, who have chosen the path of merchants and inventors, often travel from one city to another. Their wagons are usually grouped into caravans of up to 6 families. Discrimination and mistrust from other people shaped the culture of Ratmen, encouraging them to rely on each other and strengthening their family and community ties. They are always looking for their kind. Do not judge others for their looks and accept and welcome strangers into their communities. But they can also quickly become determined fanatics, prone to violence. The Ratmen are often seen in fantasy books and games. Without the gigantic size of a dragon, without the superhuman abilities of a vampire or an evil eye, they are very worthy opponents, both on the battlefield and in city slums. As we draw the veil on our exploration of Ratmen, we are reminded of the enduring allure of mythical creatures that continue to captivate our minds and fuel our imagination. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Remember, the world of fantasy is as boundless as the imagination itself. May the mysteries of mythical creatures inspire your own epic adventures. Join us next time as we journey into the realm of yet another legendary being.